I'd like to explain how the grading system for the course works. By the way, the system is one adopted by all the departments and colors. Its premise is that the grades are a system of communication, and therefore a master only will use it the same way. With issues transferred so that the employees will will how use, how performed. Here is how across the country we propose a grade review. A. Student did as well as could be expected. B. Student did as well as could be expected with some roles. C is to meet the minimum requirements for the course. D. The student learned some of the material but did not meet minimum requirements. L. The student learned little or none of the material, that is, he failed. There's no point in saying that the letters ought to mean something else. For instance, the C ought to mean average. When you speak a language, you have to use it with people you use it. So your grading system is for the standard of counting exactly. Also, grade measure result, no effort. We are not on the Sesame Street more, folks. It may sound charitable to grade on effort, rewarding hard work with a higher grade, even in the absence of measurable results. This, however, won't work in practice. I have no way to measure how hard each of you work, do I? Mind you, despite recurring rumor, may not go anyhow, yes? Well, may I say something? Okay, shoot. You may afford doesn't count at all. It seemed to me kind of unfair not taking into account differences in same like natural aptitude and learning style. Sorry, but the university gave the reward for mastering course materials, not for enduring the tragedy. No matter how much you sweat in the process, it doesn't count unless you cross the finish line, which route we have forwarded by each time in medical school or by one had a hard time when we got his passing grade on effort. Grading on effort accounts your incompetence or at best send you into advanced courses for which you aren't prepared. When you put it that way, it makes sense. Alright then. Now that we're on the same page, there is one more thing I'd like to mention. That is, grades are not numbers. We will numbers make certain that grades even fail it. The grade itself is a teacher's professional judgment of a student mastery of the subject. It does no good to tell the world that you scored between 80 and 90, or as I also tell the world exactly what is on the exam. Right, but it makes little sense to issue arbitrary declarations that B is 80 to 90. The university publishes course displays not their own. 80 to 90 was a paid percentage of either bid, like top 10% get paid, or something like that. I think it is a very precise and fair way to grade it. Are you sure? Well, that's already told us the fairest method of grade, and he gave us was he wrong? Oh yeah, of course, I'll give you grade ranges, but not percentage. You're talking about two different things. There are no percentage in giving grade according to certain ratio, as they say. You know why? Because students should be graded against the course requirements, not against other students. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure certain amounts of competition among you guys is very healthy, but you shouldn't suffer because you're a fair student nor benefit because they do what way. Do you know where I'm coming from? A graduate school or employer will want to know that they must do the course, not whether you fellow student failed to do so. And so, to answer your question, yes, your high school teacher was wrong. Do you see that now? Completely. Alright. This method of giving grade based on how students work compared with other students is called grading on the curve. You may have heard because a lot of IQ tests and other standard tests use that, but what most non-statisticians don't realize is that grading on the curve works well on weekend cluster is enormous. With perhaps 100 students and are only when the student performance is known to be constant over time. Whereas real just worlds. performs from year to year, from day to day, etc. So, in a class of around 50 like errors, the random variation will surely invalidate any attempt to give A's, B's, and C's to 50% of the class. Believe me, I'm a living being a statistician. No. Standards think to any depth as long as all students think together. A scary thought, isn't it? Oh, by the way, every flower cases of suspected cheating to the officer's judicial program. This may sound a bit heavy, but it shows that confident investigation by experts, followed by a fair hearing. Of course, if it's proven that he was indeed dishonest, he gets the F that he earned. Fair enough. I don't dream of anything other than that. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm gonna talk about the source of the Milky Way. First solar system, as we now know, consists of a central star, the Sun, and the bodies that orbit it. Well, let me ask you, what are these bodies? Things orbiting the Sun include planets and their moons, and asteroids, and some comets too. Yeah, if you add meteoroids, the list of these bodies will complete. This list used to include 9 planets and 16 asteroids, comets, and meteoroids. But just a month ago, on August 24, the International Atomic Union passed new definition of the planet that Pluto in a new category of dwarf planets. So now we have 8 joining planets and Pluto. Besides this, the solar system contains dust as well. So they differ greatly from, for example, Mercury, the closest to the Sun, has a separate temperature of 400 Celsius, whereas Neptune, which winds blow minus 108 to 153 degrees Celsius. Pluto, now called dwarf, which is 3.6 billion miles away from the Sun. That is 40 times the distance between Earth and the Sun. The apparent temperature reaches a low of minus 330 degrees Celsius. Also, all of the planets, only 5 are visible to the unaided eye. To see Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, the farthest 3, a telescope is needed. The same is for the ring of Saturn and for the asteroid or minor planets. There are objects especially between Mars and Jupiter by some means. In the further fall into 2 groups, the 4 small rocky planets near the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, and the 4 planets further out, the whole called the gas giant, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Between the rocky planets and gas giants is the asteroid belt, which contains thousands of chunks of rock orbiting the Sun. And Pluto is very small, solid, and icy, and its status had been floating. And what I mean is, where you may have read in the newspaper or something, like that Pluto's small-sized icy composition and tilted orbit how the asteroid classification of the planet. Some always thought of it as no side is should be grouped with asteroid or comet because the reason is because several other icy bodies have recently hovered beyond the orbit of Neptune. Anyway, Pluto is the outermost planet of Sol, except when it freezes inside Neptune's orbit. Most of the bodies in the solar system move around the Sun in elliptical orbit located in a thin disk around the Sun's equator, all the same direction. Counterclockwise from view from above and all about Venus, Uranus, and Pluto all spin around their axes in this direction. Moons also spin as they in turn orbit their planets. This in always center of the galaxy, the Milky Way, which is today's second topic. The Milky Way is the name given to the faint band of light that stretches across the night sky. This light comes from stars and nebulas, clouds and dust on the gas in our galaxy, known neither as the Milky Way galaxy or simply as a galaxy. By the way, does anyone know how many stars there are in the galaxy? A lot, like several billion? You are right that there are a lot. And nobody knows exactly how many, but the number of stars has been estimated to be between 200 billion and 400 billion. The galaxy is shaped like a spiral with a dense central ball for arms spiraling outward and surrounded by a less dense halo. The Milky Way is actually the fine of the disk of our galaxy. The Sun is one of the fine examples of these billions of stars. The Sun is disk two-thirds of the way from its center to its edge. So that we look fine disk the Milky Way, or looking in another direction, that in outer frame which have fewer stars. Because our solar system is in one of spiral, the origin arm from our position, the center of the galaxy completely obscured by dust clouds. As a result, the optical maps give only limited view of the galaxy. However, a more complete picture can be obtained by studying radio, infrared, and other radiation. According to the however, the small dense sphere called Milky Way stars. The halo is a less dense region in which all the stars are situated. Some of these stars are very hot itself. The spiral arms contain many hot young blue stars as well as the river inside of which stars are born. The other stars span an age range between 1 billion and 10 billion years. There is also growing evidence of a very massive black hole at the center of the bulge. The galaxy is vast over 1 light years across, billion miles. In comparison, the solar system seems tiny, and over 20 diameter. The solar system would be 1 inch in width. The entire galaxy is also rotating around its center in space. Although the inner stars are moving faster than those further out, the Sun, which is, as I said, about 2,000 out from the galactic center, completes one lap through the galaxy about every million years, which means it rotates at a speed of roughly 202 km per second or per hour.